What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, and on the phone we got Anthony of Tora Tora. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Hey man, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you, man.
Yeah, it's an honor
Appreciate
to
your
talk
time.
to you.
This is great.
Yeah.
We've just been super pumped up, man. We're excited about the new Frontiers release. It's coming out February 22nd, Bastards of Beale, and we've been given some sneak peeks, a couple of songs, Rose of Jericho and Silence the Sirens. And we've got a surprise, man. Before the record drops, we're going to drop another song out and a new video. It should be coming out around February 21st.
Awesome.
So we're super pumped about that. We're on all the digital platforms, and you can check out on YouTube. You can see some static videos of the first couple of songs. And it's just been great, man. Hooking up with Frontiers has been amazing. I think just the timing of it was perfect, for all of us. I'm actually based in Nashville, and the band we're all from Memphis, so logistics and all that played a part in us getting together to record and write and all that kind of stuff. But we knew of Frontiers, we knew their reputation. We all knew them from when there was a guy, Jimmy Jameson, that was out of Memphis that had worked on Frontiers. Doing some of his solo stuff. He was a singer for Survivor,
Oh,
for
wow.
a long time. And so I remember, years ago, him talking about Frontiers. I think they've been around about 20 years. And he was doing some solo stuff later in his career, and he had worked with them. And then we're friends with a lot of the bands that are on there, and we toured with some of the bands that are on there now. LA Guns is getting ready to drop a new record, and we toured with them a long time ago, and they're just awesome. I mean, they've just got a good reputation, and they put out quality stuff, and we just felt like it was a great fit.
Yeah. At this point in the career for Tora Tora, do you make music now? Do you like go into the studio kind of knowing what to do? Do you have a formula that you follow, or do you still take a new approach and every record has kind of been like its own experience?
Well, this one was definitely different. I mean, we haven't put out a new product from Tora Tora in like 25 years, so
Yeah.
this was like a really different approach. We actually went in and we cut this one really live. Like we did it intentionally. Back in the day, when we were with major label like A&M, and it was raining champagne on the record labels and all that. They were selling physical products for $20 at Target and all that kind of stuff. It was a different world. It was a different time. You would like studio up and get a drum sound for a week and a half or whatever. But this is a much more expedited process nowadays. Because of technology and stuff, it's better. But for us, it was just like I said before, a scheduling thing. We're all kind of involved in external activities outside the band, and we have families and all that stuff going on. So we did this because we just love doing this, and honestly, it's because of the people that were listening. Frontiers came to us and asked if we wanted to do it, and we were lucky enough that they gave us a platform to kind of reach out to our fans and our friends. And I mean, we consider them our family, man. The people that gave us a shot a long time ago, man. It's an amazing opportunity to go and play music for people, and that be your gig, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
incredible. I don't even know how to describe it. It's awesome, and we felt just honored, to be this far down the road, and for us to get a chance to do something new, and for them to give us an opportunity was awesome. So the process was really crazy. We went in, we cut live. The band was in the room, the bass, drums, and guitar, and then they took me in an isolation booth, and they just said, go for it. If you get it, great. If you don't, then we can come back and fix your thing, And but we did everything in like 6 days. So we went
Wow.
in, we cut basic tracks for 2 days, getting bass, drums, and rhythm guitars, and then we went in 2 days and did solos and singing, and then we mixed for 2 days. So I mean, there's not a tambourine on it, there's not a keyboard. It's just the four of us, and we put some rhythm tracks under solos, and we did some background vocals. It was like really freedom, man. I mean, we kind of went in and just said, it's gonna be raw. This is what we sound like. We feel good because we're kind of rested. We do this. We do some one-offs. We do some fly dates and stuff like that. But we haven't just been like tearing the road up. And this meeting with Frontiers has opened the door for us to get back out and go see people all over the place. To start doing tour dates and stuff again. So
Wow.
We're freaking out. We were like high as a kite, man. I'm not kidding. We were like a bunch of giddy little kids. We were texting each other, and we had, a lyric text going, a song title text going. We were shooting videos of our hands, our chord progressions and stuff in that. And, we were just experimenting. We got to be really creative. We got some crazy guitar tunings. And the producer that we worked with, his name's Jeff Powell. And we've known him for 25 years, man. Ever since we were associated with A&M and Ardent Studios. He worked at Ardent Studios in Memphis when we're all about the same age, so we were little kids. And he grew up doing audio production, so he studied under Joe Hardy and John Hampton at Ardent. He also worked with a guy named Tom Dowd, who had done all the Muscle Shoals stuff. He had done all the Eric Clapton stuff. He had done Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, all those people.
Impressive resume.
And stuff. But Jeff was learning under this guy. He's kind of like a mentor guy to him. So he learned all those miking techniques, and then Jeff went out on his own after he had gathered all the information, and he was really successful on his own. So he was like a fifth member. He's kind of like a family member. We've known him for a long time. He knows our sound. So that made it really relaxed and easy and let us, just goof around. We were telling all the same dumb jokes from 20 years ago and telling stuff to each other. And it was just felt good. It was just a great vibe. It was a really quick process, but man, we just soaked it in. We did it at Sam Phillips Studio in Memphis, which is amazing to be part of that, just from a historical standpoint, and to think all the people that had stood there and sang and all that stuff. I mean, it was just, man, it was so killer. And the process, though, was real intentional. I guess when you listen to the record, it's going to sound raw. It sounds like us, but we just walked in and turned the amps on and said, okay, this is kind of a snapshot of what we sound like right now. And it was just incredible. The songwriting process, we all chipped in on that. We worked on the arrangements and everything, and Jeff actually came to our rehearsals and did pre-production with us, so we could be really efficient in the studio. We just did all the legwork ahead of time, so when we walked in, it was just, let's go in, it's go time, and we're going to have a good time and do this thing. So
That's awesome. I would say I've done almost 300 interviews now, and I would say that this has been the most positive retrospect on the making of the record that I've ever heard. So,
oh man, that's funny, man.
yeah, most of the time they're like, "Oh, it was hell. It took forever. We had 6 different lineup changes, all that. You've heard it all." So like,
Right, yeah. Well, this is kind of unique, man. It's the 4 original guys. We've known each other since high school. I mean, we literally grew up together. Went through being a little band and signing a production deal with the studio, and then we got signed and just put a video out back when MTV. The music industry a long time ago was about getting on MTV and radio. I mean, we're in a different world now, but back then, if you could get on those 2 things, you could get a little bit of build an audience and go out and do some tour dates and build some credit, some street cred, and go out and kind of work your way around the road. And we were lucky enough that A&M, the label we were with back then, kind of laid the groundwork for us, and they gave us a lot of tour support and kept us out. We told them that if they would help us with touring, we didn't want to go home, so we stayed out on the road as much as possible. We just said we loved it. We had never toured before the Surprise Attack record, and so when we left, it was like eyes wide open. I mean, we just went, oh my God, it's a giant world out here, and we want to soak it all up. I mean, we went crazy. We were about 18 or 19, I think, when the record came out. So
wow,
it was crazy, And now all these years later, to bump into Frontiers, and they've kind of got our genre anyway, kind of cornered. They've got a lot of bands off that, and for them to give us the opportunity to go back and reconnect with the audience, to have this product and this platform right now to go and do this, because we feel good. We're like we're rested up. We feel good, and we want to go see everybody. And so I was telling you about the timing thing before. Back in like 2016, our bass player was diagnosed with cancer, and he's fine now. He's got a clean bill of health. He's doing great. Everything's fine. But it kind of scared us, especially. We're a little bit further down the road, and when you talk about anything with your health or something, you start kind of freaking out because of the lifestyles, that we were living.
Yeah.
A long time ago, you think about, this crazy stuff, but
Caught up with you.
He's fine, and we did a benefit for him, and to help with his medical bills and stuff like that. And while we were doing that, we were talking about recording and stuff. You know, we kind of, all of us had a different perspective on life. We were just thinking about how awesome it is that we're all together and friends and we're okay. And so we were thinking about it, and then we jumped on the Monsters of Rock cruise.
Oh, that cruise is awesome.
Some friends of ours had asked us to go, and we had not been able to do it. And then finally, we just blocked out some time, and especially with Patrick in getting his clean bill of health, he just wanted to go play. He was like, "Man, I'm ready to go everywhere, anywhere. I don't care if it's a hole in the wall or if we're staying on a huge festival stage or whatever. I just want to go play." And so the March of the Rock was perfect. We found our tribe. We got on there, and it was a bunch of crazy rock and roll, community. It was a whole group of people on there, and we were huge fans of all the bands that were on there, and had toured with some of them and everything. So I mean, it was just awesome. And to see his face, he was just lit up like a, he couldn't wipe the freaking grin off his face the whole time we were on there. So we were happy. And because of there was a girl, April, here in Nashville, that helped us get on it. Because of that opened up a bunch of doors. Promoters started talking to us. They said, "We didn't know you guys were active and really playing a lot and all that stuff. We thought you were just doing a couple shows a year." And so we got to start touring. And then that's right when Frontiers reached out to us. They said, "Hey, man, would you guys like to put together a new product?" So a new project. And so the timing was great. We did that at the end of 2017, and we talked to Jeff. He had texted me. He working at Sam Phillips. He's cutting straight to vinyl. He records and goes straight to vinyl. So he had written me on Facebook and said, "Hey, would you like to come down and do 2 sides with me?" And I said, "You're never going to believe this, man." He didn't know we were talking Frontiers. I just said, "We want to come cut a whole project. We just got to figure out how to schedule it, with scheduling and families and life and all that stuff going on." So it was just perfect timing. He said, "Yeah, man, absolutely. We'll block out a time." And we took our time writing. That was like November when we were talking, and we ended up cutting the record in June. So we gave ourselves some time to go through it and rehearse. And the whole process was just awesome. We're super comfortable with each other because we've been around each other for so long, and we felt like we had something to say. It was like, man, we hadn't done anything new in a really long time, and we had all these life experiences and people that we had run into and our fans and everything, the shows and all that the experiences that we'd had, that we said, man, we want to do something,
Yeah, I mean, you said, it's funny, you said this, so this is the first new album in 25 years, which means this makes it the first Tora Tora album in my lifetime that I'm witnessing.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I just turned 25, so.
So we're like relaunching, rebranding kind of to people. We definitely love seeing the people that were there listening before. We, man, honestly consider the everybody family, that come out and do these shows and listen and support us and all that. And without them, we couldn't do it. We don't take it for granted, I guess, especially because we're older, and we say, we stepped away to raise our families and, had other priorities and things that had changed our perspective for a minute. But us doing this together and doing it now, and then the fan support and having an audience and guys like you giving us a platform, to reach out to people, it's amazing, man. It's like getting hit by lightning again. And so, first new record, we're back, and we started writing, back in November. And honestly, man, the fans and stuff wrote the record. I'm not kidding. We were just thinking about all these people we'd run into, and you never realize how much somebody touches your life, or you go through this experience and you remember something so vividly that you just go, "Oh my God, man, we're just sitting here talking about this stuff." And the very first song that came out that we were teasing is Rose of Jericho, and the title of it at the beginning was Rock and Roll Ain't Dead Yet. And we were kind of talking about us. We were like, man, it's not out of my system. I'm still passionate about it. I'm still crazy about music, and I still feel like I did when I sat on the edge of my bed and strummed my acoustic, And but we started talking about all these things on the road and all that, and these floods of memories came in, and we were just like, "Oh my God, man!" It felt like we just were getting another shot. Honestly, that chorus and everything, the Rose of Jericho, Resurrected, Rose of Jericho, and all that, all came from that. We were thinking like, man, they're feeding us, they're feeding us this hunger that we had to go back out and do it. We're still hungry, You know,
Yeah.
we're not burned. We hadn't been like road dogging it or whatever forever, and we still want to go out there and do it. And so we said, man, you know, they helped us write all these songs on the record. I'm not kidding.
That's awesome. That's a really heart-touching thing to hear. And you know, it's funny to like hear somebody who's been a band in the '80s. You know, like there's been like a lot of people. You know, I don't want to mention names or anything, but kind of had a bit of like a pessimistic outlook on like the music industry and the world of rock because either records don't sell or certain bands broke up or it's all about touring now. Blah 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 blah. But it seems like you're kind of like having a fresh start with a real bit of optimism, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy, man. I actually switched gears when I moved to Nashville up here. I actually went to work for record labels. I worked for Sony and RCA.
Oh, awesome.
And I worked in music publishing. I'm a entertainment business professor now. I taught at Belmont University. I teach at SAE Institute now. And I'm kind of looking at people that are little that are coming into business. We were lucky enough. We had mentors around us that were watching out for us, that were, you know, a few waves down the road than we were, and could talk to us about, you know, barriers and obstacles and things that running down in a rabbit hole that they might could save us time and say, you know, don't do this, already been through that, you know, on my own. And I wanted to be that for somebody else. I didn't realize it when I was young. You know, I quit high school to go be a rock and roll singer. I mean, I'm from the Delta in Mississippi. My family's Southern Baptist, and I walked in and told them I was running away with a rock and roll band. So, I mean, that was a crazy
Every mother's dream, right?
Yeah. And luckily, my mom's side of the family was real musical. They never played as professionals, but they were kind of porch pickers, you know, and they were incredibly talented, man. I mean, it was like three sisters and a brother, and they played, sang piano, and they did everything from gospel to R&B to rock to country to everything. And they loved music. I mean, it was just instilled in me through them as far back as I can remember. Music was part of my life, you know. But I never sang in front of them. I was always embarrassed. They were just, you know, kick ass. And so when I did decide that I wanted to do it, they actually supported it. It was pretty wild.
That's awesome.
My mom did. And but anyway, so all these years later, after the Tora Tora record deal, and I had been a solo artist for a while, I ended up going back and get my degrees, my master's in communications and the entertainment industry. And so I came and went on the other side, on the corporate side, and watched like a fly on the wall all these conversations that were happening that I never knew about when I was a little lead singer running around, you know, in a van and stuff. And man, it just, I don't know, it gave me a different perspective. Like I saw people that champion people in a corporate setting, that somebody that didn't get traction or something that could be just a write-off. You know, they had 1,000 other people in the pipeline, and one person's voice, it was like 12 angry men. You know, one person spoke up, and it went around the room, and all of a sudden that bought that guy some more time. You know, I wanted to stand up and go call the guy and go, don't screw this up. Somebody just stuck their neck out, you know. But, I mean, I was just kind of learning the system and watching or observing and things like that. But it was pretty powerful, you know, to see it. And I get a lot of questions about us from the era that we were from, the 80s, you know, hair band era, to when it shifted gears, when it went into grunge and all that. And if we had any idea, you know, what kind of effect it was going to have on us. And I didn't, honestly. Back when that happened, we played gigs with Alice in Chains and stuff over on the West Coast, and we just thought they were another rock band. They were cool. We liked them. We listened to them and hung out with them. And I didn't have any idea of the effect it was going to have on the industry. But it was hard. I mean, it was a big shift, and the industry as a whole saw that as a group of people that they haven't sold to before. They were like, hey, here's a whole new audience of people that are excited about music. Let's sell to them.
Yeah.
And I can see that from this side. You know, at the time, it was super hard because we were like right in the middle of like our second record.
Yeah.
And we had spent a long time working on it. So it was kind of crazy. But, you know, it's kind of weird. Music goes in cycles. And if you look at it at the time when grunge came along, a lot of the bands sounded alike. They had the same production. They had the big arena, you know, toms, reverb on the toms, and the singer was hitting the highest note he could hit, you know, without passing out. And there was all these elements to it. And not to take away from that, I love all that music. I mean, I had posters all over my wall. I love, you know, all the bands. But, I mean, I could get it how when somebody walked out and had something that was raw and different and organic and, you know, it was just a breath of fresh air. It was just like, wow, no, I hadn't heard that before. What's this?
Yeah. Well, I don't
So,
think that metal like died when grunge came about. I think metal, kind of, in like the Motley Crue, Cinderella, Poison sort of way, sure, it kind of faded away with
yeah,
that. But I mean, in the
yeah.
'90s, look at Pantera. I mean, they
Right,
dominated.
yeah, they totally, and I mean, think of how hardcore their fan is. I mean, the culture they created, the community that
Yeah.
they created, and the legacy that is still continuing. I mean, they still do tribute concerts, and they're still doing Ride for Dime, and they're doing, I mean, he touched so many people's lives. I mean, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It did shift, and that's just part of what happens. I mean,
Metal
that's
just
just
got
normal.
angrier. That's all.
Yeah, it's true. It is
Sepultura,
true.
Fear Factory, like all those
Right.
bands. So
And there was room for all those people. That's what's so awesome is, I mean, we just thought of it as, there's all these different I mean, think about bands in the 70s, man. They all sounded Aerosmith and Bad Company and Led Zeppelin and Humble Pie and Terry Reid and all those people. They all sounded different. They were all rock. So there was room for all those people. And that's kind of the mindset that I was in when they said, it shifted. It was just, hey, man, it's just more music, man. Everybody's still getting along and going to concerts and having those experiences together. And it's about, belonging, man. Shit, we all want that. We all want to feel like we're part of something, part of a community. And I think that's where we are now, as a society and stuff, is going out and going and having these experiences together where you go to the festivals and and you become part of that shared experience for a minute and forget about all the crazy noise that we're all hearing,
yeah,
all over the place. It's man, music is so powerful. I mean, I just love it. I love how it brings people together. It really is
Yeah.
a universal language. I really mean it. It's, I mean, hell, that's why I'm on the phone with you today.
yeah.
We get to talk about stuff. It's pretty amazing that we get to meet people like that. So.
Yeah, you have no idea on how like an awkward situation at a bar just changes just because a song that two people both like come up. So, like,
That's true.
and that's
It's
just a
funny,
small
man.
example of it.
Yeah, it is funny, man. And nowadays with the apps that you can get on your phone and stuff, you can like switch the jukebox and all. I mean, it's hilarious, man. It's crazy. It's so funny.
Yeah. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. This was a great discussion. I also would like to say that out of all the phone interviews I've done, you have the best cell phone reception as well. So just
Oh wow, thanks, man.
yeah, there was one time I had to like do a phone interview in like the bathroom because like so like it just obviously Bastards of Beale that's coming out February 22nd. Can we just be expecting to see Tora Tora on the road again anytime soon, or anything else you would like to promote?
We're going to be on Monsters Rock in February. We'll be at Rocklanta in March. We'll be in St. Louis and Chicago in April, and we're going to be in Colorado and M3 Festival in May. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody out on the road. Please go to toratoramusic.com if you want to see our dates or anything about our merch. And you can find us on all the social media platforms, Tora Tora Band. And we just can't wait to see everybody at a show, man. Please come and say hello to us. And hopefully we're going to have a tour date in your city coming up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Anthony. We are here with.
Hey, man.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing your time. Really, I appreciate it.
Anytime. I hope you come to New York City soon.
We'll do it, man. We're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Everybody, we are here with Anthony of Tora Tora, Bastards of Beale, February 22nd. Pick that up and catch them on all their festivals coming up. We'll see you next time on Heavy New York, everybody. Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks, man.
Yep, have a good one.